So welcome to this episode of Rumble. My guest is from the digital world. Now it's all about the internet, obviously, and of course any instrument that deals with electronics. From the days of print media, we shifted to this. So my guest is an expert in that. So welcome to the show, Ravi.
Thank you, Madhav.
And your company, Digit9, I know that you're fully into digital. Obviously, your name incorporates the word digital.
That's true.
So how did you ever start on the other field, or you went straight into this?
No, I went straight into digital. I took the deep dive into digital way back in 2006.
Okay. And what made you do that?
Well, I was in a different field altogether earlier, and when I decided to start something on my own, I saw that there was a huge need for marketing of movies to begin with.
Okay.
And they had completely kept digital aside. So I started as an entertainment division for the company called Nine Winds.
Okay.
And then went on to create Digit9.
So it's almost like Digit9 slowly went on to gobble up Nine Winds, because the digital world became more prominent, I guess, in marketing.
When we started, it was a challenge. People didn't know what digital is and what
percentage of a budget, an advertising budget, would go towards digital in the early days?
In the early days, it was 0 to 2%.
How did you guys do it at 0%? I mean, very minuscule revenues.
Yeah, it was a challenge, but it's always good to be the first entrant to the market and try to make an inroad where nothing exists.
That's true.
Because the potential was huge.
So you recognized it.
Yeah, definitely. So
your team of people, or if you didn't have a team, just you saw it? Or
no, we had a team of about 4 people to begin with. And,
okay.
We started talking to people. It was a challenge. We started giving it as an add-on earlier, and then they realized that it was something that was beneficial to them.
So in digital marketing, how many sort of divisions would there be in the business? Like in print media and newspapers, you got copywriters, you got visualizers, you got this, that. In this field,
digital is a whole ecosystem in itself. Actually, it's as big as print or probably bigger, where you have designers, copywriters, strategists.
So are there clean-cut divisions in that business also?
Yes, very much. So you have every possible division. It's like an ecosystem, like I said.
Okay.
You have people analyzing things, strategizing, making graphics.
Is that part of the old school business also,
not
analyzing, or it's only come now with this?
It's old school analysis was more based on sample studies. Here it's actual studies, because it's not sample surveys that are being done.
So that probably is the most vital or fundamental change that has happened.
Extremely, because from picometers to RAM and TAM ratings, this is like actual numbers and actual
TAM
audiences.
is a kind of bullshit rating, if you ask me. I mean, I never believed that it had made any sense.
Well, it's not totally bullshit. There is some science behind it, but the sample, the groups were too small for a country as big as ours. So
does TAM exist?
It does exist.
What does TAM stand for?
Television ratings, actually.
Television audience something measurement
matrices, whatever.
Okay. Yeah. So they take a small sample, and interpolate it to signify the world.
So they have something called as picometers, which extrapolate and interpolate things to kind of figure out what the world is watching, actually. So.
And in time, did that prove itself right, or do you now see
there's
that
always
wrong?
Been a challenge, and different parties will look at it differently. The advertisers look at it differently from the TV channel, and the audiences look at it very differently as well.
Okay. What about the target that you are, or rather the people you are targeting? Are they fundamentally different from the old audience?
Well, in the old audience, you were assuming what the target audience were. Here you have a precision targeting, where you can actually put in filters. You can actually, zero in to the kind of audience, to what they like, where they stay, what age they are, what sex they are.
How do you get feedback on all those things?
So tools are available today, and the minute you log in, people know who you are, what you're doing. You have your Facebook accounts, your Google accounts.
Okay, let's take a situation like I got a new product, maybe some electronic gizmo. What would be the pitch that you would make to the manufacturer? And how will your marketing really help him?
See, today it's all about reaching out to the right audience. Instead of pasting posters everywhere in the city and putting newspaper ads and going on television to an audience which may not be totally relevant, it's best to target out your actual audience. So, like we are launching a new mobile phone next month.
Okay.
And we are launching it only in the Hindi-speaking market, so to speak.
Okay.
So our advertising is concentrated to those markets, to the people who are interested in gadgets, to the the youngsters.
So that kind of information comes from where? From your previous?
No, it's a target audience that has been defined by us for the product,
Okay.
And that target audience is available to be targeted on the internet.
But that information is already in your possession, or you are also gleaning that as you
No,
go
that
along?
information is readily available to target through advertising channels. So whether it's a giant like Google or mobile advertising, stuff like that.
Okay.
People know who owns the mobile phone. People know who's logged in onto the net. So it's easy for us to zero into the right people that we want to show the ad to.
The other day I was just driving past somewhere in the city and I found there's this cow right in front of a big poster and just happily chewing it up. I think they eat it for the glue that binds it onto the wall. So I can imagine a guy who put 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs on a poster campaign might be just feeding him cattle.
The first thing I do in the morning when I receive the newspaper is I just shake it up for all the flyers to fall down and then start reading the paper.
That's true.
And most of the time you'll find 5 of the same flyers in one newspaper. They just want to put it in. And also digital is eco-friendly, if I may call it so.
That's also true. But I believe it does create a huge carbon footprint also, this internet. And
it does do that, but the wastage is minuscule. In terms of print and all, there's a huge amount of wastage.
Okay. And outside agencies, are they involved just with you, or is it just your team and you good enough?
No, there are sometimes outside agencies as well where we are doing a 360-degree campaign which involves the other mediums as well.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, when I say other agencies, I mean like somebody else requires a distributor to take the newspapers and leave it at everybody's door. Somebody else requires.
So in this case, sometimes we do have to use the expertise of different people when you're creating apps or when you're promoting it. So vendors, of course, are there. For the advertising, you have to use the channels like Google or Yahoo, Facebook and stuff like that.
So when you started off, you said it was very small business.
It was.
When did you see the growth really taking off?
It's
now people talk only digital.
It's been a continuous growth actually, if you ask me. Today, about 8 to 10% of the marketing budgets are allocated to digital in most of the
budget.
The budget. The entire marketing budget, about 8 to 10% is allocated to this. You can see so many startups blooming on the digital space.
Yes.
Modi's been speaking about digital India and everybody's been harping about digital India.
True.
Today, the shopping's online, it's growing. It's growing at a pace it never seen before, kind of.
But in hard numbers, do you have any numbers? What was spent previously on conventional marketing like newspapers, magazines and all that compared to what's going on?
See, it's
online.
Online, like I said, it's been growing at 66% for the last year on year for the last 4
but
5
if the base
years.
is small, 66% means nothing.
Yeah, but today 8 to 10% of the entire marketing budget is online and it's expected to be
any figures on that? No idea.
Not really.
I should
I don't
check
have
it
them
out
on the top
one
of my head, but they are easily available on the net if you want to catch
So
it.
is that putting pressure on advertising agencies also to deliver, because it is bigger
A
budgets
lot,
now?
it is a lot of pressure on the mainline agencies, so to speak.
Okay.
Today, benchmark is how many people are there on Facebook on your page, how many people have viewed your video on YouTube and Facebook. So
And your clients pressurize you on that?
sometimes, yes, they do. There are definitely ROIs attached to everything that they spend. That's the only medium you can actually pressurize a person on. You can't really see how many people saw my...
And you can't fob them off with some bullshit information.
Not really.
Yeah.
It is actual numbers that we speak about all the time. It's not...
It's quite simple.
yeah.
But now you can't fob them off.
Yeah, you shouldn't also.
Shouldn't, though. A lot of things shouldn't happen, but it happens all the time.
Yeah, true, that's true.
Yeah. And so when you started this business, did you have a pool of people to...
Not really.
pick
We
from?
started from a small group of people which actually learned on the job. Now definitely there are specialized courses for digital.
Okay. So if you had to do this, if you had to do this all over again, you'll still continue the way you started.
Very much, because learning on the job has really given us a lot of more exposure to it. And people do come in from colleges now with degrees of digital marketing and stuff like that.
So folks, you heard that from him. It is a growing trade in the sense that nobody really knows where the hell this is going. But they're also learning on the job. Companies are learning on the job. So we'll find out what are the new specialized skills they are looking for, so that we can employ all these, I wouldn't say miserable engineers that we produce from our colleges, but where are we going to put all these people? Maybe he's got a few answers. So as we stopped earlier, this jobs or are these people which are required for these jobs, are they all found in cities, or is there scope for people in the small towns to come? Are we going to see another influx of people from villages and small
Actually,
towns?
there's a lot of influx right now because lots of courses are being offered in the cities and also online. So people are doing digital marketing courses. The larger companies like Google are also offering something called as Google AdWords certification and SEO, SEM.
Or they teach them?
They teach them online. There are online courses available.
So they don't need to come to town?
They don't need to come to town to learn. But they do come to town for a job because a lot of people.
But then finally, like somebody like you, how many people you have in your office?
So I have 70 people employed in my office,
and you need to accommodate all of them.
Yeah, because we have a completely in-house team to cater to the entire digital 360-degree marketing situation.
Okay.
But also the trend now is every office, every organization needs people with digital expertise. So even the traditional companies are hiring people with digital expertise or digital
Analytical
knowledge,
skills and all that.
Yeah, not only analytical but also an understanding of it, because with press it was simple. You send out an ad and they'll print it, and with send out a beta tape.
Or call the guy over for a drink and say, yeah, dal de.
Yeah, it doesn't work the same way on the internet, because you have to actually execute the campaign yourself. Most of the companies only provide platforms, but the execution is done in-house or through agencies.
So these small towners are quite able to adapt themselves into
very much.
city.
Small towners, big towners, everybody has been using internet or using the web for their own use. So the knowledge is there, and it's just about adapting it to.
So what about the educational background? Do you particularly look for any particular type of people?
Educational background is not a restraint actually, because it's a specialized field. There are 6-month courses, 1-year courses which specialize in digital marketing and advertising.
Okay.
So people with basic knowledge, even somebody who's
So when you hire somebody, do you really say, hey, show me your certificates, what the hell have you done?
Not really show me your certificates. When you talk to them for 2 minutes, you know whether they know what they are talking about or not. So, and then of course, those are all, academic knowledges, and learning on the job is extremely important in this.
And yours is mostly creative in function.
It's creative as well as marketing driven, because what happens also in a world like a digital environment, every day things are happening. So you can't just say, I have a degree and that's it, I know everything. So
okay.
You have to keep on top of things.
Technical knowledge of some sort, is that essential?
That's for the back-end people who are actually building the websites and applications. For them, technical knowledge is required. But for the others, it's more about how to use the medium best, in that sense.
And schools and colleges are actually...
Yeah, there is computer science. There is people with IT backgrounds that are obviously required to build apps. In fact, Google's come up with this huge thing that they're going to employ about 2 million people to learn how to make Android apps in India. So
is there scope for so much?
Oh, huge scope, because every business today, small, big, medium, everybody needs to be on digital. You can see the shift from a baniya also selling online to a grocery shop selling online to the...
What would be their uses of an app, a baniya, for example, a small store?
Yeah, a small store also today delivers through, delivery chains have started up, logistic chains have started up. So,
for them.
So everybody is putting up their stocks online and trying to reduce, the load singularly on each person in that sense. So.
And maybe they're cutting their inventories down.
They're not cutting their inventories down. They're definitely cutting their operational costs down in terms of having delivery boys and all. They're having logistic support.
Okay.
Because
maybe they can even cut down their inventory, because they don't need in stock so much. When an order comes in, you fulfill.
Yeah, that is true. But inventories actually need to be increased because the orders are increasing now. People are sitting at home and...
Yeah, I was reading yesterday or this morning paper that today being Valentine's Day, the average orders that came into most of these shopping sites with some 50 to 60% bigger than even during Diwali, which is quite stunning.
That's something that
India this is 50 to 60% more than an average Diwali order. So that means digital is here to stay, and
it's definitely here to stay. People are now getting used to swiping their cards, and cash on delivery is huge in India, but people are also swiping their cards and ordering things. It's convenience at the end of the day.
That's true. Is that people's mistrust of the internet and handling money over the net, or is that getting overcome?
To a large extent, yes, but India is still a cash on delivery country as such.
I talk about myself. I don't ever use a
credit card,
and not on the line.
But at least on the larger sites which people have known to now deliver, people are very comfortable using their credit cards. It's the smaller sites where they experiment with something. They say, let me first see the product come in and then pay cash. So
maybe it is also to do with the amount of cash lying in your account. I'm from the old school where I leave some, I wouldn't say substantial amount of money, but a fair bit of money in the bank in cash form. So anybody can come there and suck it dry. But a guy like you would probably be living on the edge because it's all invested here, there, the other.
Yeah, true.
More sensibly.
Yeah, true, very true. But credit cards are being used now. It's not that they aren't being used. Especially the newer generation is pretty comfortable. Also wallets, there's so much security now being invested into wallets. So people are using mobile wallets. There's so many of them now actually.
But the mobile wallet is basically your money temporarily being held by someone else.
That is correct. So your credit cards are linked to your mobile wallets. And you're using those. The security levels have increased considerably over the last few years.
So it's not that it can read your balance in the account. And
No. It's like you're prepaying into the wallet and keeping your money. So instead of a bank, you're keeping it in the wallet.
So instead of carrying a wallet with cash in it,
you're carrying a wallet with electronic money.
Electronic money. But there's no cash advantage as such. I mean, there's
it's
no
the convenience
saving.
again, it's the convenience.
So that's where the thing is.
And of course, with wallets, people are offering so many discounts, so many offers, that people are suckers for offers in India, as you know.
Of course, that's the idea of offering a deal.
So it does work, and it does work considerably well.
Okay, so another important thing is the Make in India campaign, which is one going on. The other one is Skilling India. Let's talk about what kind of people you're actually looking for. So when we come back, we'll go back into that, see what are the kind of people that he's looking for. Maybe small town people, instead of looking only to work in a BPO, can get into this field where that is answering a phone. This is actually, making something. Earlier they used to say that we need engineers to go into the electronics or whatever behind the new developments in the world. But today, with let's say BPOs, where all they're doing is, hello, I'm Mark or John, whatever, answering basic questions. That lot is one type of job. But even that, I believe, is now, there are ways to even get away from using these kind of people, because there's automatic help online.
Yeah, nobody wants to go to a BPO and wait for 10 minutes to speak to a person.
Yeah,
they go online and get the job
keep
done.
hold you on and listen to music. So even that is beat.
Yeah, everything's coming digital, and it's self-help kind of situations. You don't try calling a call center of a bank or an insurance company today.
You'll never get through.
You'll be waiting for 15-20 minutes before they hang up on you.
So even those things are now being... I'm talking about average man. He's also using all these things now.
Look at
avoiding
going to worship Lord Balaji in Tirupati, for example. You have to book a ticket online before you reach there.
That's also true.
It can't get easier than that in that sense. You used to wait 10 hours in a line.
But
earlier.
Isn't that discriminating against... people like me? I'm not.
No, so there are travel agents who will book it for you. Imagine standing in line for 10 hours rather than spend 10 minutes on
there are agencies which will book it for you.
Yeah, there are travel agencies who will book it for you. Obviously, they are official agencies. And it's so simple, you go there and you get the job done rather than wait.
So do you think all those traditional jobs where you used to have people running around doing the so-called useless job, but they will actually eventually be
the touts are
eliminated? Middlemen are on.
The middlemen are out. You have direct access to everything now. So,
okay. And you were talking about even delivery system of vegetables and all that.
Just look at a simple case scenario. You have a market with 50 shops, each of them employing about 3 people each for delivery, and mostly employing underage kids. And then
that's not legal.
So exactly, solution to that was a company comes in and says, okay, this entire market I will do the delivery for, and hires only 20 people for the entire market. And
that's good. It doesn't require specialized skill there.
Yeah, it doesn't. And, you have a bike, you wear my t-shirt and you start delivering kind of a situation.
And you have an oversized bag on your back.
Yeah, but you see what has happened. You have made it cost effective. You have made it legal because the people are of legal age to work over there. Okay. You've got those kids back to school, so it's a win-win for everybody. So
and you're seeing it happening in Bombay?
It's happening everywhere in India, not only Bombay. It's everywhere.
Because they did say that the arrival of large shops and automation and the internet and all that will make all of them.
No, but what has happened is all the small shops have started adapting to it. You have, the government.
Even Kirana shops are on
it? Everybody's got wallet acceptance right now. You can go to a smallest of Kirana shop and pay by a mobile wallet. There are companies now, in fact, the banking sector is now being mandated to get every Kirana shop online within a few years.
I see.
It's a huge development for India in that sense.
So I would imagine, listening to you, that this is, what should I say, the multiplier thingy that's going to happen
Completely.
In our country.
So it's still in a growing phase. It's a long way to go from now, but definitely.
And does everybody have a place in this network?
Definitely, there is place for everybody.
When I say everybody, I mean a historian, somebody who studied geography, somebody who studied physics and
everybody. There is no exception.
Sabke liye ek jagah hai.
Definitely, everybody is got space on the net.
And how about the women? Are they being accepted in just as much as the men now?
Yeah, I don't see any discrimination of sex on the internet in that sense.
Except attacking them when they go late night at home.
Not really.
I mean, you've been hearing about that.
It's a media hype probably, but on the internet you find men and
so
women.
It's been actually a great leveler for women and men to get into this field, because nobody sometimes even sees them. You don't even know who they are.
It's a virtual face actually.
So it's just the brand name that is speaking.
So there are agencies run by all women forces and stuff like that.
So that it's not to say that they're making a difference to
not
the
at all.
product, but it's just that you're giving them an opportunity.
it's an equal opportunity system on the net. There is no such thing, because you could be sitting anywhere and working actually. It's not necessarily traveling to a place.
So can you do what you are doing without having them come to Bombay and occupy valuable space there? Keep them in a small town and yet continue doing what you're doing?
While you can, for the quality control sometimes, especially in terms of design.
But
and
even then,
innovation
aren't they sending things across to you?
You can do that, definitely you can do that, but you may require a couple of people to then travel to that part of the city and be the supervisors. Actually, it's not about small city and big city kind of a situation.
That's what I'm
because
thinking.
creativity and coming up with ideas, you see YouTube, people have made millions on YouTube.
Correct.
Just by putting up videos from various parts of the world.
Yeah.
So it's not about a big city scenario or a small city scenario.
So will you be making things yourself, or you are only into marketing?
No, we do make things ourselves as well. We create platforms for people. We create websites and applications for people as well. Because you need to create the assets to market them, and the assets are not a replica of your mass media assets. So in fact,
what exactly do you mean
it's
by
like
that?
a print ad would be very different from a very innovative ad on the internet, which is actually helping you go in, see the features. Say a car is launching. On the newspaper, you will see a photograph of the car with features written down. Fine print written down. Here, you could actually get into the car and do a virtual test drive if you like, So to check out.
They rotate the car and
it's a 360 degree situation.
This, that, the other. So
there's a small example, with a movie, for example, you will have a poster on the print, and here you will have a digital poster booming out of the screen onto your face.
Okay.
So it's a lot more you should do.
So who's the industry that has taken the first mover advantage? Is it entertainment that has jumped in, or is it education?
No, it's all of it. See, education for digital in education is huge now. Small villages are using pre-programmed educational modules to teach the entire village at one go. So it's
and it all comes down the wire. Comes down the net.
Yes, all through the net. It comes either pre-programmed or
there are no boxes of anything being sent to anyone.
Nothing. You do have that model as well, but it's also available over the internet. And it's started virtual schools. You don't have to travel 5 kilometers to a real school to study. You could actually have a room full of people and do your studies with pre-programmed content.
So it opens up a huge market for the expat Indian also.
For all
who wants to go and check something from India, some
Yeah.
products, some music, some devotional, this, that, the other.
Everything is available online today. Everything.
And are people already in all these fields? Or is
While
still
they are, everybody is in, but there's still a huge scope for expansion. There's huge, there is an area that is available. It's like an unlimited balloon actually.
I know, but do you think that this would be the place where our India will come into its own, rather than employing every farmer and every laborer to go and dig canals or whatever? This would be the easier way to...
It's actually it's not a substitute for farming and digging holes, but there is a huge scope
But
for
I'm thinking,
employment.
who will be able to do more? Do you think this...
I think internationally, India will get recognized for its digital powers, for sure. So
that's the way we should go.
You see, all the top companies are employing Indians at the end of the day today.
Yeah, that apart, your particular field is the way it looks like.
So we are actually, as a company, Digit9 also takes care of international clients from India. Sitting in Bombay, we are taking care of clients in the US, in the Gulf, everywhere, in that sense. So yeah, India is a huge pool of talent as such.
And opportunity.
Opportunities.
So thanks, Ravi, for coming across.
Thank you so much.
Though I know you could talk for hours and hours on this, because everything is virtually new for those who don't know anything about it.
That's true.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much, Madhav.